Hey, welcome. We're about to dive into something that's, well, it's as beautiful as it is alarming. It's happening right out in the open. The actual colors of the natural world are changing, and it's a direct response to our changing planet.
So let's just start with a pretty big question. Is our world literally losing its color? I know, it sounds like something from a movie, but the science is telling us something really profound is going on with nature's palette. Take a look at this. You're looking at a bleached coral reef. It's hauntingly beautiful, but it's also a scene of devastation. And this isn't just a one-off. This is a powerful visual sign of a global phenomenon that scientists have a name for: ecological discoloration.
All right, so first up, let's get into what it actually means when we say nature's palette is fading. And we're not talking about small changes here. This is massive. Over the last 20 years, scientists have actually measured that more than half of the world's oceans have changed color, becoming noticeably greener. And that's not just a surface-level change. It's a huge clue that entire marine ecosystems are shifting.
So, what is ecological discoloration? What are we really talking about? Well, simply put, it's when plants and animals are literally forced to change their color, their brightness, even when they reproduce, all just to survive. It's a direct result of climate change, and at its core, it's evolution happening right before our eyes.
Okay, so we know what's happening, but the really big question is why? What's the science behind all this? What's actually causing these huge color shifts across so many species?
Well, it turns out there are two big opposing forces pushing and pulling on these animals. On one hand, some species are getting lighter. It's kind of like wearing a white shirt on a sunny day. It helps reflect the sun's heat and keeps them cool. But on the other hand, some species are getting darker. They're producing more melanin, which is basically a natural sunscreen to protect them from damaging UV rays. Now, this is where things get really fascinating. Let's stop talking theory and look at some real-world examples of animals that are changing their colors right now. First up, let's talk about the tawny owl. This is a perfect example of natural selection happening on a seriously fast-forwarded schedule. So, tawny owls have historically come in two color schemes. There was the darker, more common one, and then a paler gray version. But now that pale gray variant is becoming the dominant one all across Europe. And the reason is actually pretty simple. Winters are getting warmer and there's less snow. Lighter feathers are just better camouflage now. It's climate change driving evolution, plain and simple. Next, let's look at a classic story you might even remember from biology class, the peppered moth. Its story is incredible because it shows just how quickly species can respond to changes we make to the environment. I mean, the journey of this little moth is just amazing. Back in the 1800s, soot from the Industrial Revolution turned tree trunks black. Suddenly, the dark moths were perfectly camouflaged and they thrived. Then in the 20th century, Clean Air Act started to work, and the trees got lighter again. And today, the lighter peppered moths are making a huge comeback. Their color is a direct mirror of the air quality.
And this isn't just about owls and moths. A massive study from just this year shows that this trend is happening all across the insect world.
Yeah, researchers analyzed over 5,500 species in the Northern Hemisphere, and they found this incredibly clear pattern. Insects like ladybugs, butterflies, and dragonflies are, as a whole, getting lighter in color. And it's a direct response to rising temperatures and more frequent heat waves.
Okay, so a butterfly gets a bit lighter. You might be thinking, so what? Why does that really matter? Well, as we're about to see, these changes are way more than just skin deep. They have some serious ripple effects.
Let's just trace this out. Think of it like a chain reaction. First, a species changes color. That can mess up its camouflage, making it an easy target for predators. Or maybe its mating signals don't work anymore. Then, you've got pollinators, like bees, who suddenly can't find the flowers they depend on. And the final result? The whole ecosystem gets pushed to its breaking point, disrupting the food chain from the ground up.
And that point about plants is so important. Flowers evolved these beautiful, vibrant colors for a reason, to attract very specific pollinators. But if a flower's color fades because it's stressed, the bee it needs to survive might just fly right on by. That threatens not just the plant, but everything else that relies on that plant.
So when you put all of these different pieces together, what do you get? Well, these aren't just a bunch of random, isolated events. They're actually forming a collective message, a warning from the planet itself. And here's the key takeaway. These color shifts are what scientists call bioindicators.
You've heard of the canary in the coal mine, right? Well, this is the same idea. The changing colors of animals and plants are a visible, measurable signal of our planet's health. It's nature's alarm system, and it's going off.
And as Dr. Hawk from Monash University points out here, there are real costs to this adaptation. We're seeing the changes happen right now, but we are truly just beginning to understand the long-term, cascading effects this will have. The full picture is still coming into focus.
Which really brings us to one final thought. From the most vibrant coral reefs to the humble little moth, nature is talking to us in the most direct way it knows how, through color. It's sending us these bright, clear, unmissable signals of change. The only question is, are we paying attention?